Singers. Queen is touring with Adam Lambert.
Right.
Is he related to Miranda Lambert?
I think so. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Anyway, he won a contest, and now
I think actually, I think Adam Lambert and Miranda Lambert are married. Actually, so
No, I don't think they're married.
yeah, shh. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hey, I'm Kevin McLaughlin. This is the Riffs and
Rhythms podcast. This is Paul Robertson.
Rock on. How you doing, Paul?
I'm excited.
I could tell. And it's cold in here, too.
It is. I know. The air's going good, man. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here, Kevin, man. Another episode.
I know. This is good. This is good. We're having
way
time.
too much time.
And what we haven't talked about.
That's right.
Stonewall Jackson here.
How hard he is. So
that's our silent partner.
That's right. So actually, yes.
Stonewall Jackson.
Speaking of our silent partner here, and who we've determined that gets more fan mail than us, who is actually is beloved more than Kevin and I, and so
it's because he never says anything offensive.
He's just like the cool. He's the rock that holds this podcast together.
I would say so.
So, but yeah, so it's good to be back here. Let's start off with a quick drink here. So, yeah, what do you got there in your glass there? Is that a little bit of Stolock whiskey?
So,
don't snort your whiskey. Oh, wait, isn't that a song?
We're snorting whiskey.
Drinking cocaine.
Drinking cocaine.
That's right. You were saying, what do you got in your glass there?
So, I've been turned on to this Stolock whiskey, actually, and it's quite good.
Yeah.
Been on a whiskey mission for nearly a year now, and Stolock whiskey rates very well.
Oh, I don't even have a glass to enjoy some, so we'll get somebody behind the camera to throw me a.
Oh, you've got.
Oh, that's right.
I'll put a shot glass
I will
right
put it in there. I'll put it in the Kevin McLaughlin band shot glass there, and it's so yeah. So how so why am I so cool enough to have gotten the shot? Where can people get this if they're not cool like me? I can get it directly from
Well,
you.
yeah, if you're not cool enough to work with me and get it hand to hand, you can go to the KevinMcLaughlinBand.com and click on the album cover. That takes you to the online store. You can buy all that stuff. Or you can show up at a show. If you're on social media, usually Facebook, just type in hashtag Kevin M, and they'll show you where we're at.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. It's full-bodied. It's nice. It's not
It's
too
good. It's great
not too
stuff.
harsh.
So we did actually get a little something from Stolock, right? A little bit more because again, we're big fans of them here. So this was from Stolock via our good friends down at the House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits.
This is batch number 10, and it was made in the future on 7/24.
They hooked us up with a pretty cool cooler. Right above your head. Look at that. Stolock whiskey.
It's got ice in it, doesn't it?
No, it's out.
It's leaked out.
It's leaked out, yeah.
But that's cool. You can walk around and keep your whiskey cool. And
well, maybe I might actually pull my little my whiskey wagon. Oh, I like that. Whiskey wagon. That's the name of the new band.
Is that just hanging on the wall like through movie magic?
It's magic.
Pretty cool.
It's a screw in the wall, silly.
You ruined it. I was trying to set it up.
Oh.
Yes.
Somebody's screwing Jackson.
Yeah. Jackson has a screw hole.
He gets more poon than the both of us put together.
I didn't realize that Jackson had a screw hole.
Exactly. Ain't our fault. It's not our fault.
Well, that ain't.
You know what? That demon rum is effective.
It is turning the demon loose for sure.
Yeah.
So, no, it is hanging on the wall there, yes, by movie.
Tracy's defense, we've hardly drank a drop in weeks because I've been on the antibiotics.
Oh, so she's been she's been riding solo with you because you've been on off of the alcohol because of.
She typically won't let me feed her rum because this is what happens.
Well, the night is young. The night is young. Yeah. So anyway, so yes, so Stolock whiskey there and virgin vodka there. So they got a cool. So maybe I'll be walking around the Doot Fest, right? Doot Day at a Time Fest.com. Maybe I'll be walking around with my whiskey wagon.
That would be cool.
So, giving out free samples of some Stolock.
There's definitely some puns there because when you're off the wagon, you're drinking, right?
There was a whole Seinfeld episode about that.
Yeah.
They were trying to determine if it's on the wagon or off the wagon.
It's off the wagon.
Right. So if you're off,
And there's a tradition about that. Apparently, there was an actual back in the like early England. There was a wagon, and if you drank too much, they put you in this wagon and
they make you listen to Wagon Wheel on repeat.
You were exactly, and you weren't allowed to drink while you're on this wagon. They I guess it was like a shaming technique that they would bring you around town as a drunk in this wagon. But when you got off the wagon, you start drinking again.
So would you say right now? So I guess we're off the wagon.
Yes. Well, yeah.
We were probably never on
That
the wagon.
actually, that reminds me of a joke.
Yes.
You don't want to put this as part of the episode, but
Well, this is for the Patreon stuff.
all right. So this guy walks into a bar and he orders 3 shots of whiskey and 3 beers, and it's a joke. It's not a song. And so every day at 3:30 he comes in and he does this. And
Wait, did you say beer 30?
no, yeah, should have said beer 30. And the bartender's like, what's your hurry, brother? Like, I'll bring them to you one at a time. He's like, nope. I drink them 3 and 3. So he comes in every day, same time, 3, 3, 3, 3. And so finally the bartender gets curious. He's like, what's the deal with the 3 shots and the 3? He's like, well, it's a tradition. Me and my friends, we grew up together, but one's in Australia, the other one's off in Ireland, and I'm still here in the United States. But yet every day at 3:30, we all drink together. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. What a great tradition. And so one day, after months and months of this, one day he comes in and he orders 2 shots and 2 beers. And the bartender feels terrible. He doesn't know what to say to the guy. He's like, can't bring himself to talk to him. Finally, he's just like, hey, listen, man, you ordered 2 this time. I'm so sorry about your friend. He's like, oh, no, it's not my friend. They're fine. I'm on the wagon.
But I'm bummed.
Yeah, it's like, but I messed it up. You're supposed to do it with an Irish accent. He's like,
Oh.
I just came from the doctor and I'm on the wagon.
So you know a thing or two about an Irish accent. But I got one for you. What has 5 toes and is not my feet or foot
5 toes?
and not my foot? Your foot.
Mine was better.
Well, anyway, so Father's Day weekend's coming up here, so we should be busting out the dad jokes, right? So anyway, it's good to be back here. Again, I know we were, in that last episode I said that we were Han Solo, but we're guestless, I think is the right appropriate term.
That is correct. We are
Solo, we're a solo cup.
solo cupping it
Right.
tonight. Yes, that's it.
So, but
Paul, you're doing a little better. Look.
look, we got some more
Got
stuff.
a new array. You better let me read these this
Okay,
time.
yeah, since I'm not very,
Since we're not going to spay
he's
and
gonna try to read.
any
He's gonna
beers.
try to read them without. His
Okay, we've got
glasses.
LaBelle Light.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a Bell Barn. Bell Barn. Okay, Bell Barn,
Belle of the Barn.
which is a blonde ale. LaBelle Light is apparently a light beer. We got another Bell Barn. Excuse me. And we've got the Bookkeeper.
Beekeeper.
Honey brown ale. No,
Beekeeper.
Beekeeper. Thank you. Oh, it's a honey brown ale.
So which one do you want to try?
I'm going to try the Bell Barn. Wait, yeah, blonde ale, yeah.
Belle of the Barn. There you go. All right.
I used to be into blondes. Well, I'll try a blonde ale.
It was convenient that somebody just left the room.
No, used to be. I switched my type, but
All right. So I'm gonna go with the beekeep. I'm gonna go with the
my
beekeeper.
type before I met her. That's why.
I'm gonna go with the honey brown ale, the Beekeeper. Right.
There you go. So this is more LaBelle Brewery.
Yep. LaBelle Brewery. Yeah. So this out in beautiful LaBelle, Florida. There, right in the middle of the state. There, out there by the lake, Okeechobee. There. Great place. Again, if you're going from the east side of the state to the west side, or vice versa.
You got to go through LaBelle if you're
You got to
taking
go
the Southway.
exactly. Yeah. So out State Road 80, I think it is. You go through. So pretty cool drive out through that part of the middle of the state. Yeah.
Yeah, the best advice is when you see a gas station, buy gas.
Yeah, because it's a long drive there. So definitely, it's a different part of the state than Disneyland and or Disney World and all that kind of stuff there. So yeah. So cheers there. Tell me what you think here. So.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. Again, local Florida beer, right? Again, we're all about supporting the local stuff. So check that out there. So
I like it.
so
So we've tried Cowboy Way IPA.
mm-hmm.
And the
Bell of the Barn,
Bell of the Barn.
right? And I've got the Beekeeper, and the last one was Sit and Stay. Did I say it right? this
Sit
time?
and stay, like you would tell your dog.
That's right. Stay. So all right, so yeah, so we're back here in this episode here, guest list, and again, this is kind of what a little bit of the funniness and shenanigans that we'll do when we're by ourselves with no guests and no supervision. But we're going to go through this podcast here. We got a few things we're going to talk to you about, get you up to speed here.
We may have a surprise tale from the road if I.
We may have a surprise. That's right. Yep. So
I want to preface that with the fact that Paul tasked me with a story from the road, and I can't just tell a story from the road because they're also. I've pretty much shut them out, so I can't think of one on purpose. But I often get reminded of them. So if he reminds me of a tale from the road, then I can come up with one. But
okay.
having to do that on cue, it won't happen.
All right. Well, we'll save that maybe towards the end of the show, and then we'll see if it jogs your memory of the so forth. But you know what, though, I do want to go ahead and give our. We'll go ahead and my shout out here for MVP. So the House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits MVP of the week. My MVP, I know last week, you kind of recognized me, so thank you, for the stuff we're doing here on the show. But you know what? As you mentioned last week on the show, running around, setting things up, and we are Dino-less again on this show here. I'm still not sure how long it takes to save,
Dino is
feed the homeless or whatever he's doing.
AWOL.
AWOL, right? So we may have to put in an all points bulletin to find out where he's at. So, or you know what? Maybe we should put it on a bottle of whiskey. Like, have you seen Dino?
Ah, there you go.
Have you seen this Dino? But yeah, my MVP this week goes to our guy behind the camera and the microphones and setting this stuff up for us is Dino. So want to give a shout out there. So yeah, he's been with us for quite a while now.
He's been with us for quite a while, and as in all fairness, his name is actually Christian.
Yep, that's right.
And Christian is utilizing, he's using us to further his career, which is a good deal for us because we're using him because he's willing to further his career through us. So it's a perfect relationship. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a symbiotic usership.
Usage.
Yes. So, but I nicknamed him Dino after Dino De Laurentiis. Because he always did the epic stuff in the 70s.
I know. And after I started Googling stuff and I started looking up, I said, man, that's right. Dino De Laurentiis did a lot of cool stuff. A lot of movies that you look up. And we were talking about a couple of episodes ago was like we were watching Maximum Overdrive. I was trying to watch it with my kids about, the robots machines taking over and great soundtrack.
It's been
with
a
AC/DC,
theme from the
that's right.
60s, like all along.
Yeah. So he's got
Since the 60s.
Dino De Laurentiis
No,
has
Dave,
got
I
an
can't do that
amazing
for you.
So our MVP of the week there. So cheers, Dino. There, we miss you. Hurry back, damn soon. So I'm not doing all of this stuff here, so I can drink more. Something like that.
Yeah.
So, talking about drinking. We're getting off camera cues that
We got somebody's out. We got a supply.
Well,
Should
if we had a bartender in this,
should we
show,
make another demon rum concoction?
So that's the only one that I know at the making moment, unless you
We'll
have
make
a spot.
another
rum
one
and
the
Coke.
same.
All right, so you gonna hold it down here or you?
I've got lots of stuff to say.
All right,
I
so
don't
go
think
ahead.
you-
So
I
all
can
right,
talk
I'll be
all
right
of it.
back.
All right, so we're talking about a bunch of stuff. We've got hilarious bits on the schedule. We've got to stay on target, and we're going to remind followers to stay in tune. But also, the subject of discussion. Oh, and I believe we're still going to, if we can find it, we're going to do a song review. But I wanted to talk about the subject of tribute bands because that's a big deal nowadays. I'm in a tribute band, and it's kind of a win-win scenario. I think the only people who don't like tribute bands are musicians who are not in tribute bands. But if you haven't heard, it's the wave of the present in the entertainment industry. Tribute bands, basically, it's a bunch of it's a cover band that's only covering one band, and it is. And what the tribute band does is it takes it way beyond the cover band status, and you actually deliver the experience that someone would get if they were actually watching the actual band. Like there's Rolling Stones tribute bands, there's Eagles tribute bands, there's everybody. There's a new there's all kinds of new tribute bands coming out. I've got some friends that are in tribute bands with the Allman Brothers, with the Rolling Stones, with the Eagles, with the Black Crows, and it's a chance for a person who's not going to spend $500 to see the actual band or $1,000. We just looked up front row seats to see Cyndi Lauper for $1,000.
Oh, we got to. Are you saying that you're going to start a Cyndi Lauper tribute band?
I am. Yes, I've been working on my Cyndi Lauper impression.
She bops.
I've got.
Yeah, that's.
My true colors.
God, I wish I wrote that song.
Through. Yeah, I'm going to be Cyndi Lauper.
Do you do that song actually?
Fuck no.
You should get Freya to do that.
Freya sings Time After Time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Hobe Sound Farmers Market.
See, he didn't say again. He doesn't read my text messages, or he chooses which text message to read. Because I did text you asking you when.
I did. I
responded. Did you respond back?
Yes, he doesn't read my responses. Responding to his text was so important to me that I did it while driving with family.
Texting. Oh, no. Now he's going to tell me how he's being dangerous with his family. Hold on, I want to read this here.
So anyway, the tribute band scene is actually it's a good one, and there are musicians that make their living fully by being in tribute bands. There's Journey tribute bands, tons of tribute bands. A lot. It's a bit of a heated subject. How do you feel about the whole tribute band thing?
So I think you're right. Right. If you are I enjoy watching tribute bands because they good ones. Because I know we've talked a little bit about in the past shows about tribute bands. I think we talked about it with Brian Hill. Talked about Kiss Army bands or Kiss cover tribute bands. I do enjoy them. There was a tribute band that I was following for a while here locally in Palm Beach, and I know there's a couple of them. It was a Journey tribute band, right? So a good friend of mine was a drummer for one of the Journey tribute bands, and Brian Lutz, right? I took some drum lessons with him. Amazing drummer, and you enjoy had a great time. I'm not opposed to it. Right, I'm okay with it, and I don't know if that makes me less of whatever you want to call it, but if you are, I think again once you dissolve, maybe dissolve is the right word, is into the moment. It's all I'm all about being in the moment. If you're listening to the music, and the band is on cue, and if you close your eyes and it sounds just like whatever the band they're tributing, and you're enjoying good company, having a couple drinks, and you're having a great time, that's all that matters. And I know there's a lot of heated stuff as you're asking me about this particular topic, because original band versus tribute band, and so forth. And yes, can you not top seeing the original version of that band? Sure, there's not that, but I'll tell you what. I'll give you a good example. If you see a Bon Jovi tribute, now I'm not knocking John Bon Jovi, but if you see a Bon Jovi tribute band,
chances are the singer is better than John Bon Jovi
at this moment. Again at this moment, right? Because John admits he can't hit those high notes anymore. I mean, so again, if I'm seeing a band, if I'm seeing a Bon
He couldn't
Jovi,
hit him then. I mean, John Bon Jovi.
no, well, yeah,
There's no way you could take away his greatness, but
Yeah.
he's not the best singer in the world.
but what my point is on specifically this, and we'll move on is if we saw a Bon Jovi tribute band, and if that guy who's the John in the band is hitting those high notes, because that's what we all remember. Now
Yeah, it's
goes
got to
back
be the way you remember. It's got to be like the album.
because when you go and pay your $500 to go see Bon Jovi, he is not hitting those notes.
And he's going to be playing a bunch of country tunes too.
Well,
His career has evolved since the '80s, just so you know.
which is again, well, that's a whole separate subject about evolution of musicians and so forth. No, but I mean that's it. So I guess to answer your question is that I'm not opposed to tribute bands.
I have a unique view on tribute bands because I saw what they came out of. Now, many of you don't know, and I don't really like to admit this, but for many years I made my living as a pro touring sound engineer. The first incarnation of this effect that I'm talking about was the Byrds. I'm like, oh, I'm doing sound for the Byrds. I'm like, oh, those guys still alive? Well, the answer to that is no, they weren't alive. The only person still alive was the drummer, and he was gray, like he had just had a heart attack. And he did, like 3 weeks after I worked with him, he died. And I realized this is oh my gosh, I got to pay my cardiologist tour. And what he did was he hired a bunch of kids that sounded just like his bandmates, and they put on a good show. And I'm like, oh, that was weird. And then after that, they started showing up.
All right, so
But story not finished. So it started out with some of the guys from the band, and the other guys were dead, and they wanted to tour again. Because what are you going to ask for fries with that? No. Once you've been on the top 40, you got to continue to play music, and it makes a lot of sense, right? But then it went even farther downhill, and it was a bunch of hired musicians, and the name of the band was owned by the lead singer's ex-girlfriend's dog groomer's accountant, and they were just capitalizing on the name because they could hire some people and charge a lot and pretend like they were the actual band, which they were not.
okay, so you're describing two different things here. I think people gotta understand.
Well, those are the things that paved the way for the acceptance of a tribute band.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is a good example is, and we've talked about this on the show previously, is Van Halen. Okay, so I've seen David Lee Roth with a backing band performing Van Halen songs and some of his own solo stuff, right? Now, he's got top gunslingers in there filling in for Eddie, Alex, and Michael, right?
The upcoming tour has Joe Satriani doing it.
Right. Well, right.
Joe Satriani and Michael Anthony and
Which we got some.
We got a great show and some
which-
keyboard player, which I don't know his name.
Which
sorry.
we're going to talk about here in a minute. So we're going to make sure we talk about that show in particular you're mentioning. But so that to me is like you have one of the original members of Van Halen performing Van Halen songs with different members. That to me is not, in your sense, is a tribute band. If it's a tribute band, I'm seeing in the sense of maybe it's a Brothers After All, right? That is the incarnation of a representation of the Allman Brothers. Am I right?
It's a tribute to the Allman Brothers.
Okay, right. So a tribute versus if the last remaining member of the Allman Brothers went out there.
Right, but before this was happening, bands would show up with like one guy different and then get shunned, couldn't get work.
Right.
Now we've got bands showing up that don't even have any of the original members. Just somebody legally owns that band as property, and they're pushing a bunch of kids as the band. Now they're not shunned. Okay, the beginnings of social acceptance of. Now you got people who have absolutely nothing to do with the band that are doing a tribute band. and billing it as a tribute band. Some of them are good, some of them are not. And then you've got like the other side of it where it's like bands like Molly Hatchet, which all of the original members of Molly Hatchet have gone to that great gig in the sky. The people that are currently performing as Molly Hatchet don't sound anything at all like the original Molly Hatchet. They say they're Molly Hatchet. They're they are non-original band members that are continuing the band, which is a good thing. But like I've talked to talent buyers, and they're like, that's not a good tribute band. I'm like, dude, that is the band. They're like, well, no, that's a bad tribute band. So like there's all different flavors.
So I guess again is if you all right. So let me back this up here. Let me play devil's advocate here, right? A demon rum advocate. Let's say, okay, so who's left in the Allman Brothers? Diggy?
The only people left alive of in the Allman Brothers are JMO.
All right.
And of the original lineup.
Right, okay, yeah.
Of course, Derek and Warren are still alive.
Okay, all right. So,
Jonas
all right.
is still alive.
So fair. So,
Chuck Lavelle is still alive.
okay, so
Like,
if
probably like 6 or 8 or 12 other people who've been in the band for a short time are still alive.
so, do you all right? So you said Warren Haynes right here. Would you consider him even though he wasn't part of the original formation of the Allman Brothers? Would you consider him part of the Allman Brothers?
The Allman Brothers family of bands and personnel. But like,
I'm building my case here.
okay, go ahead.
So if Warren was performing, if he came back to perform with whatever incarnation of the Allman Brothers, how would you feel about that? And I'm sure Warren wouldn't do that. I know I'm asking you an improbable question, but again, it is possible.
You wouldn't do it because certain things are too iconic to water down. And here I am as the guitarist in an Allman Brothers tribute band saying that Warren Haynes shouldn't go back and tour as Warren's Allman Brothers because that would be in poor taste, in my opinion.
Well, I was on the
And
Brothers After All's Facebook page, and a question was that. So make sure you follow the Brothers After All Facebook page, and there was a question that was posed that struck some interesting comments about regarding was "I'm No Angel," whether that was considered a Greg Allman song or was an Allman Brothers song.
Well, seeing as how it never appeared on any Allman Brothers albums and only appeared on a Greg Allman solo album, it was kind of obvious.
Okay, all right. Like I said, I was just interested that it sparked enough of a conversation that it was a song performed by a original member of the Allman Brothers, but solely, right? So
Right.
yeah. So okay. So again, coming back to I think there's two parts here, right? There's musicians who were never part of the original. So back to your thing is that are performing on the circuit as tribute acts. Again, a shout out to Fonda, right? Our guest
Yeah,
Fonda.
Fonda Cash.
Fonda Cash. They're
Does her Petty Nicks thing.
Somebody billing. So, perfect example. Asia is playing at the Hard Rock, and I literally stopped and looked at the sign, started Googling because I've seen it before, I want to see it again. It's only Jeff Downs.
Right.
It's not Asia. That's a singular member.
but again, what
But if
this?
there's no members alive in the group, then it's a tribute band. It's not the band.
But wait.
In fact, they shouldn't be using it.
Right, but okay, so
Big
Asia.
gray area. But I think here's the thing is that
We should have give them microphones
it's-
on that couch.
it's and we're talking about Jeff Downs touring as Asia, not as Jeff Downs playing Asia songs. It's truly about how the public will accept it, because like it seems like a double standard. Oh yeah, I play the Dickie Betts parts in an Allman Brothers tribute act, but I just said it would be in poor taste for Warren Haynes, who actually did that every night for 30 years. It would be in poor taste. Why? Because Warren still has an active career. Warren will make a living without ever mentioning the Allman Brothers again if he didn't want to, because he's a viable and productive writer and touring musician.
All right, so here, let me ask you. I'm going to hit you in two parts here. One is, I'll give you an insight. So, what if Sammy Hagar went off and toured as Montrose with other musicians?
Well, you might want to talk to Ronnie about that.
Well, again, but he was a part of that band. You know,
I would refer to my last statement in the fact that the name of Sammy Hagar. If he toured as Montrose, he would have to charge less than if he toured as Sammy Hagar. So I don't think he would do that.
So, but you would not be opposed to Sammy doing Montrose songs.
I know he does it in his live show already.
So, Jesus, the birds are chirping over there. Wow,
The people who don't want to be part of the show are talking more than we are. That's
It's funny.
amazing.
You-
That demon rum.
Demon Rum, you can't shut him up over there.
No, you can.
So
Stevie Nicks.
All right, no, okay, no. I'll give you the.
now we're talking
all right,
about
hold on.
Stevie Nicks
Okay.
and Fleetwood Mac. But when Fleetwood Mac does concerts, they don't play Stevie Nicks solo music.
Right.
They play Stevie Nicks' songs that she sang with
Right.
Fleetwood Mac.
All right, couch women. Hold on. Couch women. Here's the question now.
So we got some honest opinions.
No,
from
yeah, I know.
musical.
This is exactly how I want the live audience here in the studio, right? You know, the carrying on going on while we're trying to do a show. Journey. There we go.
Yeah. So Journey is touring with only one original member.
Yeah, but Journey has always cycled out members.
Oh, Journey is on tour as we speak, and they have one original member, the guitar player.
But how often has Journey toured with less of Journey is always
That's why it's my point. It's what is the public going to think is acceptable? Because Journey started changing personnel in the early '80s, late '70s.
was Jeff Downs even original member of Asia?
Nope. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Jeff Downs was originally the singer for King Crimson, and then he moved on to do Asia and a number of other awesome projects.
Left and they had somebody else.
He left and then he came back. Yeah.
So was it not Asia when he was gone?
In my opinion, Asia is Steve Hackett and Steve. Steve, what's his name from? Yes, Steve Howe. I don't know. It's
Do we want to switch seats here in this
Because
podcast? I'll go hang on the couch and let somebody else.
everybody makes those decisions for themselves, and it's what their audience is going to take.
I think is the whole answer. That's the whole answer. If you want to go listen to Asia with only Jeff Downs, then by all means go pay to listen to Asia with Jeff Downs. If
Ti-
you want to go listen to the Allman Brothers with only one member of the original band, then go listen to the Allman Brothers. If you want to go listen to an Allman tribute band with Kevin McLaughlin playing a part, then go listen to an Allman.
But I think there's a part of how it's billed. I think let's come back to how it's billed, right?
It's what-
You're billing as a tribute to the.
Think about it. When most people hear the name Jeff Downs, they have no idea who
No,
that is.
I agree. Yeah.
But if you say, you know that song, Only Time Will Tell, that's Jeff Downs singing.
And I wouldn't have stopped and looked at that sign if it didn't say Jeff Downs.
Exactly.
I stopped and looked at that sign because I'm like, holy shit, David's playing at the Hard Rock.
Since we got
gotta
like
make money. It's
since somebody's got like diarrhea of the mouth
business.
now, right? You know, over on the couch. I got a good example is I got a tale. I'm going to jump into the Tales on the Roads here. So Tales on the Road, when I took my wife to go see a Styx show that she does not remember being at. So I'm not quite sure who I went to the Styx show with. So and you know she
someone who looks just like your wife.
yeah. So I must
Was
have
that
took
your
some
house
other-
when you left?
No, this is in Central Florida when we lived.
Oh, okay.
When we lived in Central Florida, yeah. So so it was a Styx and who else was the other?
Don't know because
Oh, so yeah. Why am I asking you?
Doesn't
Right?
even
Yeah.
remember
Why am I
being
asking
there.
her? Yes. Yeah. Maybe I took my other girlfriend. Right. So my mistress.
It's in the '80s. Is probably
No. It was not in the 80s. It was 90s probably. Yeah, because it was before we moved to South Florida. Right. Yeah. So it was in the 90s. So Joan Jett maybe. I think Joan Jett maybe even opened up. I know. Why am I asking her? Right.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what?
What's the what? So
I will tell you
bring it to a
this.
point.
I will tell you this. The Roofs were fucking working that night.
That's right. They were. She doesn't remember a
Yeah.
dang thing.
Yeah, so that's my Tales on the Road. Roofie, your wife says she doesn't remember spending time with you.
Yeah, it'll help you stay married longer.
It's like, oh wow, this guy's an asshole. Here, have roofies. So yes, let's come back to this question here. So again, if you're watching and listening to this episode here, tell us what you think. In the comments or whatever the case may be. What's your thoughts here on a tribute band? What constitutes a tribute band? Is it a band that is made of billed as a tribute band? Or is it a band that is one member of the original band who's trying to still keep the thing alive, right? Because we see a lot of great bands that come through here in Jupiter and Abacoa. Through the summer, there's always every month there's a great tribute bands that come through. They bill. We've seen a Prince tribute band and that Beatles tribute band. The Prince one was awesome. The guy was really so acting like Prince. They played the last song, whatever, and the band's playing, and he threw his guitar, walked off the stage, and it was like what the heck? Yeah, it was great. So let us know, what do you think what is a tribute band to you?
Yeah.
Tribute band is what you do. There are no actual viable members of the original band.
Oh, okay. Tribute band is just nobody from the original band.
Because how do you tribute yourself?
These are the aspects of the debate that we are trying to get
That's right.
feedback on.
And if you have watched previous episodes, Jake Walden and I are starting up the Kevin McLaughlin tribute band.
And does every
Good
member
luck.
have to be dead before you can have a
Yeah, and don't look at me like that. But
Are you dead yet? Are you dead?
you're kind of cold. I can start the band. No, but you think about it, okay, so look, my first example, the first time I saw the drummer from the Byrds, who even knows who the drummer is, no offense, but hiring a bunch of kids playing, is that a tribute band? Does it decrease the credibility of the tribute band when it's actually got a real guy from the original band in it?
But I think we've talked about this before, where what is the signature essence of the band, and a lot of times and I'll agree to this, it is the singer. Okay, and if the singer is a different, I think we've talked about this with Brian Hill. We talked about
the voice of the band is the band.
Skid Row, right? They've gone through numerous singers since Sebastian, and everyone says, bring Sebastian back, because that's what people want to hear. And I go back to what I said about David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth, from the late 70s to 1984, 85, was the voice of Van Halen.
Let's talk about successful singer changes in bands.
Okay,
Now, we got
yeah.
successful changes in bands. Sammy Hagar, right? No offense, Dave, but I like Van Halen better with Sammy Hagar.
Oh, yeah.
How about Bad Company? Their biggest commercial selling album was with Brian Howe as the singer, not with Paul Rogers.
How about Judas Priest? Robert Halford was not the original singer of Judas Priest.
There you go. What other examples are there? Bands changing singers. Queen is touring with Adam Lambert.
Right.
Is he related to Miranda Lambert?
I think so. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Anyway, he won a contest, and now
I think actually, I think Adam Lambert and Miranda Lambert are married. Actually, so
No, I don't think they're married.
yeah, shh. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I don't think so. But it's a complex subject, because I remember as a kid I was a huge Kiss fan. So I finally went out to see Kiss, and I wasn't keeping up with all of the news on Kiss, and there's some other guitar player up there.
All right, so
Vinnie Vincent. I felt gypped.
the Egyptian Unk. Yeah.
I did not know that I went there to see Ace Frehley play lead guitar for Kiss, and I got Vinnie Vincent, and I was gypped. But it was Kiss.
Who invited the Peanut Gallery?
I didn't. So even myself, like, you look at personnel changes in bands, it makes the band different.
I don't agree.
It's not the same. And when we talk about the tribute band, like, of course it's different. Like, many tribute bands don't even know any of the people in the original band. Like, how is that better than having one person different in a band that's still the same band.
So I think in fairness to
Complex. I don't even understand it all myself.
in fairness for that example with Kiss, right? You walked in expecting to see the
Ace Frehley.
Ace Frehley, Starman, but you end up seeing somebody else on the stage as the Egyptian Ankh, right? Ankh.
He had a circle on his face, and I
yeah.
wanted to punch it.
Right. So again, we're talking here, but let me use that again. Kiss is, I know, one of your bands that influence you, and again.
By the way, Vinny was
right, yeah.
no Ace Frehley.
I don't disagree, right?
Can I just
But-
tell you that was our children's first concert?
So
Good job.
you got to see pictures of us, me and my oldest, in face paint, sweating it out in the
No
amphitheater.
kidding.
Yeah. I'll have to show you pictures.
Oh, you painted your face and everything?
So yeah, well, she did. Well, we're in the
I
parking
saw them at the Leaky Tiki and
Did-
the Leaky Teepee.
So, Kiss. Here we go with Kiss. At what level is consider a band, or the name, because that's what it's, the name of the band that you're seeing, a performer, that takes away from what's considered no longer part of original, or i.e. tribute. Gene and Paul have 50% of that band and has been there from the beginning. Are they a tribute band? But they are the singers too. They are
They got
the
a different
singers.
drummer. They got a different guitar player. Well,
And many times over, right?
many times over.
Right. So, would I go see? And I know it's you being a guitar player and Ace, and being very dejected seeing somebody else, not Ace.
I didn't even. I don't know if that I would have gone if I knew Ace wasn't going
Right.
to be there.
So we've seen, as we just mentioned here off camera, Mike. There was, we've seen Kiss a couple times, and it was not with Peter and Ace. Did it take coming back to what question you asked me? Did it take away from my enjoyment from that night? It did not.
Well, in my case was different because I was expecting Ace and I didn't get it.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. That was before the internet, kids.
For the internet, yeah. This was like, I don't know.
Or Twitter to find out that Ace is no
in
longer.
the 80s. Not Kiss's best.
Did you
Kiss's-
somebody just say the
Kiss's
dark
worst
80s?
Yeah, Kiss's worst decade probably was the 80s.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. In one of the episodes, I was singing "I Was Made for Loving You." That's right.
Yeah.
No,
That appeared in a movie we just saw. That was in a movie. What movie? I just watched the movie. I Was Made for Loving You. It was
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah. What
We
was
just watched it the other night. Maybe it was
Wasn't that? Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that movie where the kids go on a journey? It's like a Kiss movie.
We also made our kids watch Kiss.
What the hell was it?
Kiss Meets the Phantom.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was a great
Yes.
movie. I love that.
So that's just it. Doot.
I think it was
Doot,
yeah,
doot.
doot doot doot
Doot doot doot.
doot doot doot
Yeah.
But there's plenty of songs with do do do.
doot 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 doot. That's what the Colored Girls sing.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh, doot,
hey,
doot,
off
doot,
camera
walking
couch
out my
person.
back door.
Off-camera couch person sitting in seat number 1,
No one can
humming
hear
up.
you when you say,
Doot 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 doot.
Mana mana.
We- That is not the first. That is not the first time he said a "mamana" on this podcast. All right, folks. Again, you can
All-time
tell.
classic.
You can tell we have a good time whether we're with a guest or without. So we're definitely having a great time here tonight. Just again, it's a little bit more different conversation with us. This is you've got Paul and Kevin 100% in your face. No guest tonight, and that's right. Yeah, right in your face.
Oh baby.
Balls in your face.
All right, so there's the hilarious bit for the night.
That's right.
So, but clearly, this whole
We
tribute.
still have a song
band-
to review,
Oh, we do. Yes, we should do that. This whole tribute band versus non-original band members. It's like an extremely complex subject that I don't totally understand my own feelings on. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But it has a lot to do with the fact that the music industry is going through a bizarre change. Like, it used to be that you hated your parents' music and nobody ever listened to it, and so the trends totally changed. The bands from 10 years ago disappeared from the face of the earth. Back in the old days. Now,
Because once they died, the music was gone.
yeah, now parents and children like the same music, and stuff lasts far longer.
But you have kids today wearing ACD shirts.
Yeah, you've got kids today wearing AC/DC. Thorn is the name of the song. And there's no longer that musical rebellion and rejecting the music of our forefathers, and people want to go with the safe bet of having like a blockbuster band. I honestly, I think we could get off of this tribute band thing, and if people were, it has to do with the devaluation of music, because
Now that's a whole nother
it has to.
because it's
All these bands are come from.
access than it was when we were.
All these bands come from the days of yore when there was no LimeWire and there was no Napster. These bands that are being tributed are from that prehistoric era when music actually had value.
Hey, I had a boombox with dual disc, cassette double.
I just thought of that right now. I think that's the dividing line.
Yeah.
I think that's dividing. And those bands that came from before, they're still playing. I mean, like they wheel them up on stage and they play. But bands that like in that post internet era, it's not that way. How many bands in the post internet era are being tributed? Can you think of any?
Well, because you don't need to because their music is still readily available.
Well, what do you?
But those original bands in the pre-internet era, their songs are readily available as well. But they were perceived as bigger than life because they were inaccessible. They weren't on your phone anytime. That even though the new audiences can get them anywhere, that the perception has transferred.
Well, I think again, there's got to be some interest in a band to be a tribute band for. Right? I'm not going to be a tribute band for that a band that may have got minimal success. Am I a tribute? Could I be a tribute band, as you said, post internet, which is kind of on the edge, like a band like Pantera, or hell, there's a band that we've talked about, I think probably in the podcast before, is that probably nobody wants to tribute or try to even attempt is like a band like Rush.
There's a couple of Rush tribute bands.
Yeah, so I mean, but that bar is up there, right? You know what I mean? So
Between being a tribute, a quality tribute.
yeah, that's fair, right? Yeah, and he talked about Kiss bands, the Kiss, right?
Gonna be able to replicate that.
Yeah.
Actually, what's his name? The bass player. He did the soundtrack.
Getty.
No, the bass player that I'm trying to think of. He did Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Oh, yeah, Les Claypool.
Les Claypool.
Yeah.
He does a Rush tribute, and it's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
If you type in Les Claypool Rush, they play Rush songs.
they're
unbelievable.
They're almost as good as right. Yeah, especially with their drummer. Drummer's also up there too, right? So, but all right. So
that just occurred to me on like while we were speaking. I think that are the bands in the post-internet era tributable? Because it seems as though it's all bands from the pre-internet era that are the ones getting tributed.
But is that just because they're not?
no, well, no. I'm gonna tell you this because there are bands that do a form of
Is that doo-doo?
there are I have seen here locally. There's bands that are like a Rage Against the Machine, tribute band. I've seen a Tool tribute band. I've seen a Foo Fighters, so there are around, right, more post, the internet, as you said, whatever that line of demarcation, right? But yeah, so again, I think again to our point is, you hear the conversation and the dialogue between Kevin and I and the peanuts on the couch about the feelings about what tribute band is versus, what that term is and what you're expecting. And again, we love to hear your comments and thoughts on, you put it in the comments there and then watching this video or on the review, etc. on our
That's
Instagram.
typically
page.
how
Yeah.
we hear their comments.
That's right. They shout it out. They shout it out. Yeah, actually, there is a link in there.
If you don't want the answer.
Is there a shout out button? Can you like shout?
There's actually a you can
comment
click the
with
text.
all caps.
Yes, all caps because we're old and we can't read very well. Anyway, so let's jump to our music review of the week here. This is a local musician here, Jason Montero. So you know a little bit about Jason?
I know Jason. He is awesome. He's a great musician, super cool guy. I just got a chance to share the stage with him
Okay.
at the dedication of the Scott Benj Memorial Stage at Sailor's Return, another
Yes.
music venue.
We and I want to talk about because you were there, right? So let's close the show out with a little bit of a talk about Scott and that dedication there. But so this is a song here from Jason Montero. It's called Thorn, and here we go. I already like it already. A lot of percussion.
Lots of rhythm.
You say I've got problems, and I just say they're technicalities. You say they're problems, try to pin the blame inside of me. You're manic. Tell me I need doctors while you're sucking juice from pre-peeled lemon drops. Sure, I need doctors. Seems the heavy rains have spoiled my crops. There goes my canvas, and you doodle up diplomas, and you theorize that I may not do well. Make reservations in that giant padded one-room white hotel they call Bellevue, and you pump me up with Valium. Second that I gave you half a chance, some beer and Valiums in a cemetery doing modern dance like Baryshnikov.
A little piano action there. Yeah.
When the dam starts trickling water, the valley's gonna flood. You're so cautious, found the Dutch boy, now you feel secure. You say you don't need me, that call from Mexico has made you poor. Sure you don't need me, so why'd you keep the key to my front door? Can you say locksmith? Well, the truth is that I'm sober. Trust me, honey, that won't last for long. I thought I'd want you. You keep on insisting that I'm wrong. Yeah, me and Shakespeare. So if you're drowning, you're in town and need someone to care, just give a call and I'll come running, push you down the stairs. You say I've got problems, but you're the one who's covering your tracks. We've all got problems. Mind if that's you keep.
I would love to know the story behind this. There's something to these lyrics here, you know. Yeah, when we get Jason on, we're gonna get Jason
I have
on.
to give him a call.
Yeah.
Now we normally talk over the music, but I was
we were
captivated.
We were just listening to it was an interesting journey in the song here is those lyrics very.
Either they're total nonsense or there's an amazing story behind all of that.
Yeah, so Jason, definitely we're gonna have you on the show and on the couch here to talk about it. So
So a full rhythm section. There was how many percussionists were doing all that?
yeah, there was a lot of it. You know, I hear the gyro right there. Not the gyro, not the food. I
Were
know
you eating a
I'm
Greek
hungry.
sandwich
Yeah,
or what?
I'm actually a little bit hungry right now, but so
They,
you know,
they're
I was
scraping a Greek sandwich in the rhythm section.
I was definitely
With the
trying to.
gadzuki sauce getting all over everything.
Oh man, the gadzuki sauce is awesome. No, is it tzatziki? I think
Yeah,
it's
something
tzatziki
like
sauce.
that.
Yeah, something like that. Gadzuki.
It's like their Greek version of
Yeah,
mayonnaise.
gadzuki was like Godzilla's son or something.
Yeah,
right?
he
Something
was
like
his
that. Yeah.
retarded son who couldn't throw any fire. They sent him to Bora Bora. He couldn't even conquer the whole island. They shot him.
Poor Godzuki. All right. So yeah, I was trying to really listen in on. I was trying to obviously I was focusing on a lot of the percussion, and then I was really trying to focus on the guitar. I think it was the. Was it possibly the mix that was very well blended that nothing overpowered either one, and you know.
Well, a little bit of silence was part of this groove,
Yeah, right.
as all good grooves have, and so clearly the wide sounding percussion section, and then the acoustic guitar coming in, the bass guitar, and then the piano accents. Well mixed, good sounds all around.
Yeah. So all right, so this is going to be a tough one. It seems like, right? We're going with here, right? So,
Yeah, because the rhythm was great,
yeah,
but then suddenly the acoustic guitar and the bass come in, and now that great rhythm was incomplete. The rest of the band completed it. So tough one to say if it's the riff or the rhythm.
and I don't want to go rhythm, right?
I would have to say the way that the song is mixed brought more attention to the rhythm than to the riff.
I agree. I agree.
So I'm going
right.
to go with the producer's intention and say rhythm.
Rhythm. Yeah, I agree. Right. It was a lot more focus on that song because a lot of the other percussion was kind of really helping drive the song there. Again, you get lost in the rhythm, the words he's singing about, and so this is a rhythm for me as well too. So, all right, so there it is, Jason Montero, Thorn.
Yeah, Jason
right?
Montero, a mainstay on the Treasure Coast music scene. A great musician, awesome haircut. Good job with the hairstyle there, Jason.
That's right. Yeah.
And we got to get him on as a guest now.
I know. Yeah, because I heard he fastens his haircut after you.
Oh, no, who knows? But
or the other way around.
Could have been the other way around.
Yeah, so he looks younger, so he's probably fastening after you.
I think we were both there when we met, so you never know.
That is true. So, so check it out there, Jason Montero here. Like we said, here, local musician here in Treasure Coast area. Check it out, support here his song Thorn and a lot of other great music. And again, like you said, Kevin, he is a main staple in this area here. So it's you're almost on any night you probably will catch him somewhere performing, whether it's here.
He quite regularly plays at the Manja Clam.
Okay.
The Eat a Clam restaurant.
Eat a Clam. Okay.
That is in Salerno.
We're not going to go there.
It's one of those venues it's a great restaurant and bar, and it has music to enhance that.
Is that by the Pocket area?
Yeah, it's right at the end of Salerno Road there.
Okay, yeah.
Right next to the bar that keeps changing names every 5 minutes.
Yeah, all right. We won't call out who we were talking about. But.
No, it was, what was it? It was right on Manatee Pocket there.
Yeah. So, there's another great. We were talking last episode about venues, right? The Pocket's got a lot of great little venues there, too. So.
Pirates Cove is one that I perform at regularly.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And then there's it was
Twisted Tuna.
Twisted Tuna, and then it was called the something else, and now it's called something else. The Fish. It was called Fish with a Y.
Okay.
And then they changed the name again to.
I can't remember now.
There was called used to be Fish.
There was a place I played with Billy, right? Our last guest was right there on, I guess, the road and the water. It's not the Twisted Tuna was here. The place right by close to the road. I forget. It wasn't Twisted Tuna. No.
There was the place where we did Heartfest, which is right next to the old Twisted Tuna.
But the place is right there was by the road. It always floods. Yeah, but it's something else.
Floods?
Yes. Was that? It seems like the water always comes up on the dock right there. Yeah. I don't remember now. Yeah, but we had a good couple of shows there at least. Yeah, so we had a good. Anyway, so check out Jason Montero there, local there. Follow his stuff there. We'll put a little shout out there. So thank you, Jason, for us submitting your song for you. So.
Yes, that was an unsolicited
Unsolicited. That's right. So
Because we like Jason Montero. He's
yeah.
awesome.
So check them out there. So all right. So let's kind of wrap things up. I think we can hit everything we were going to talk about. Definitely in-depth conversation about tribute bands, and that is definitely
It is a hot button subject. I don't know
yeah,
that it
yeah.
can ever be quantified into a yes or no.
I
This is
agree.
way too complex.
I agree with it. I agree for sure. So, so we're so definitely to check out the Riffs and Rhythms podcast here on Apple Music. There, give us a 5-star ratings, give us a review. It's also available on other podcast platforms where you find. Search for Drums under the Drums and Rums channel. We are part of the Drums and Rums podcast channel there. So check that out there. Again, like and follow the podcast on YouTube, our socials. We post a lot of the clips.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say, like, as someone who contributes content to social media and YouTube, and as someone who's a fan of that content that other people create, when you're watching this, it just takes you 2 seconds to click and like and blah, blah, blah. It makes no difference to you if you do it or not. So just do it, because it makes a whole difference for us. It's the difference between us being able to make our living or not being able to make our living doing this. So just click the bell, do the thing, like, subscribe.
Ding.
Even just give us an FU if you want, but just comment on there. Even if you didn't even listen to it, just say, I disagree with what you're saying. It'll spark a huge debate that will give us some attention, and that's what we need in order to monetize what we're doing.
Right. Again, any little bit of interaction and sharing as well. We also do have a Patreon page too if you want to support the podcast there. Again, we talked about was just, if you just want to throw, hey, okay, want to support you guys, throw in a couple bucks into the tip jar. It's as easy as $3, and then have different levels too, based on what you want to get involved with, what you want to support us with. I think even at a certain level, we'll even do, live streams, etc. Or if you are a member for long enough, some free T-shirt stuff and things like that. So again, we're trying to get creative here, trying to grow the podcast. We also have a whole thing about, a possible festival that we may be involved
let's
with.
just breach that and let's talk it into reality. The Riffs and Rhythm Festival is happening. We just don't have the details. What it's going to be is it's going to be a music festival featuring the musicians that we have featured as guests and as reviewees.
That's right. So
it's also going to be including the first ever live version of the Riffs and Rhythms podcast. We won't be podcasting it. We will be just laying it out live on stage. You'll see us. You'll be able to see how we do what we do when we do it, and be part of the whole thing.
That's right. Be part of it. So yeah. So more to come on that. Also, we do also have Kevin. I'm coming back around to something we talked about with the Sammy Hagar thing is. So we are going to have a giveaway here for those that are local here in West Palm area. The Sammy Hagar show is coming up here in July with Loverboy there. So they're the opening act for Sammy Hagar, and I think it was the Circle. It was with Michael Anthony, Joe Satriani, Jason Bonham, and Sammy Hagar himself. So we've got a giveaway.
Keyboard player from
keyboard player from somewhere.
He's
right?
great. I've
Rick,
seen him.
Rick Wakeman. I heard Rick Wakeman.
No.
So I heard from Asia. But yeah. So check that out there. We got a little giveaway coming up here. So follow that stuff to find out how you can win some tickets there and hang out with us. Right. That's part of it too. Is we're going to be going to the show too, and then come hang out with us and be part of the all the fun stuff that we got involved with too. So yeah. Well, I think we're good for the night. Think so. I'll answer for you already.
So this brings our Riffs and Rhythms episode to a close, Paul.
Yeah, here you
Fill
go.
your shot glass or drink a beer.
Yeah, we drink a beer. All right, so here, everybody.
So much, everybody.
Thanks.
See you next time.
Cheers.